I'm Laura.
And this is the Pattern Queens Stitch With Us, episode 2. And
Woohoo!
this is November the 29th, 2020, a nice November Sunday.
It is gloomy and gray at my house.
But it's not snowing.
True. And when I'm looking out Katie's window here, I can see a few beautiful leaves still dangling from the tree across the street.
Well,
So I
that's
think fall
nice.
vibe.
Right. Well, I feel like most of the leaves around my house, they were just all really pretty one day and then it rained and it just took everything down.
Well, mostly all of my neighbors' huge tree full of leaves are in my driveway.
Ah,
So I don't always enjoy them so much.
right, right.
But I did not say the part about this is a channel about cross stitch and silliness and friendship and rambles and shenanigans.
Lots and lots of them.
And today is a Stitch With Me version. So this is where I was last week. Here, I'll do this. And that's my picture.
And here's where I am. And I'm working on this one, and this is Lizzie Kate stocking sleds. We're both doing Lizzie Kate's. I'm not sure how that happens.
I think because I was in the cross stitch shop and found this and it came as a little kit.
Right.
Well, it came as a chart pack. I had to buy the floss and I opted, it's all DMC. So,
Right.
but I have
Perfect.
realized that, like you, I will be doing filling in because it is all pink behind that word.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, mine is all pink fill-in too, so
Yeah,
that'll be fun whenever we get
we
there.
will be pink twins.
Yes, we will be. So I found a fun tag on the website youtubesociety.com. I just Googled tags for YouTube. And I found a Thanksgiving one because this past Thursday in the United States was our Thanksgiving. So happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone. And
Yeah.
if you're international, I hope you had a good Thursday that day. But it's just some fun Thanksgiving related questions. I thought that'd be kind of timely. So the first question is, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh my gosh. I have a really hard time with this because, well, I think my favorite Thanksgiving dish is the stuffing because
Ah,
that's the thing that's different. We do a basic Thanksgiving now. We've discovered that we would rather have kind of some basic things and then we have yummy desserts. But
mm.
our dinner was so good that we didn't even really eat dessert. I had a little bitty bit of apple crisp with vanilla ice cream on top.
Ooh, nice.
How about you?
I also love stuffing, but I am a potatoes fiend. Like I love mashed potatoes. And so Thanksgiving is the time where I'm just like, just give me every mashed potato that you made, please. I'll just load up on them.
I would
Um,
have to say that Jeff's family does a huge family reunion each year, not this year,
mhm.
but usually. And the very first time that I went, I get there and there are like 50 plus people there. It's huge, huge, right?
Mhm.
And when it's finally time to go eat, and you've been smelling this forever, I get to the table and there is a bowl that the top is about this big and it's about this deep. That's all the gravy there is for 50 people.
Oh no.
That is not good. I put gravy on turkey, potatoes, and stuffing.
Yes, just ladle it across.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, the next question, and you've kind of already answered this, so you'll have to give us an alternate answer. What
Uh,
is your favorite side dish?
oh,
What do you like besides the stuffing?
oh man. Um, well, I too love the mashed potatoes.
Mhm.
And this year I made cream corn. Well, no. I requested cream corn and I was going to make it, and
Mhm.
then I was sewing. So my family graciously made it. But all we do is make corn and put some cream cheese and green onion in it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And that is not a thing that I would have on a regular basis. And I will not eat canned cream corn for
Mhm.
anything, but I love it.
Oh, huh.
And you?
See, well, I also love stuffing. Um, I'll eat a ton of that too. Big old pile right next to the potatoes. Then in my family, we eat a lot of deviled eggs on Thanksgiving because everybody likes deviled eggs. And so growing up, there would have to be like two people who brought deviled eggs. Like my grandma, my dad's mom would make deviled eggs, and then my aunt Claudia would bring deviled eggs. So we just have a ton of deviled eggs, and almost all of them were gone by the time we actually started eating dinner. Like my family are really into deviled eggs. And
Normally
then,
we have snacky stuff during the day, and deviled eggs are like a staple for us. That
oh,
didn't get done this year.
oh no. And then I've thought about you whenever I was eating this. My mother-in-law made some green bean casserole, and I
Uh-huh.
love green bean casserole. And I really only eat it at Thanksgiving time. And my mother-in-law has a gluten sensitivity, and so she made a gluten-free uh, green bean casserole. So she found this soup mix that she said is like a cream of anything soup mix. So
Oh,
she made that up, and then she put her own mushrooms in there, and then she flavored it with some bacon too. And then she put the green beans in, and then I guess Aldi's this time of year has gluten-free French fried onions that she,
oh, good to know.
yeah. She always says she stocks up this time of year on the French fried onions, and they were really good.
I need
So,
to go hit Aldi then, because yeah, we make a chicken and rice casserole that always used to have the French fried onions on top, and we have not done that.
well, yeah,
Can
you'll
have
have to go
without
see
it.
if our local Aldi has it. But yeah, I thought of you. I was like, oh man, I bet this would be great for Laura because that's something that you probably don't get to have too often, at least not with the onions on it.
That would be correct.
All right, the next question is what's your favorite Thanksgiving dessert?
Pecan pie.
Me too.
And we did not have it this year.
Mhm.
So my runner-up was the apple crisp with some ice cream on it.
Ooh, that sounds good. There usually at my in-laws there is a pumpkin pie, a pecan pie, and then a fruit pie. And then there's kind of this cheesecake dish that's not like the traditional cheesecake, but it's something that my husband's grandpa makes.
Uh-huh.
And then this three-layer jello that's a cherry jello, a blueberry jello, and then like a cream cheese layer. Also a traditional thing from his grandpa. So that's our usual spread. And so I always get like a pretty good sized piece of pecan pie and then maybe a little sliver of pumpkin pie. And then, later on when it's snacking time, I hit the other desserts. But pecan pie is my favorite.
So I feel like pumpkin pie is just an excuse for whipped cream.
Agreed.
And since I'm gluten free, like we don't make a bunch of stuff. I'm gluten free. I'm diabetic. You know,
Mm,
we don't make a bunch of stuff to have around the house extra. But
right.
Katie did buy a couple of pie shells for me, and we didn't use them because we did other things. So, you know, that's okay.
Now you can have a pie for Christmas or just a random pie.
I could.
All right. The next question is not food related, but it could be if you really wanted it to be. What are you most thankful for?
Oh, in this crazy year of COVID, I think I am most thankful for my friends. Um, and especially the people who have just come out and embrace the idea that we can still get together and hang out like you and I are right now. um, Katie and I have spent the last 2 evenings doing video chats with stitchers, and we have been stitching all evening. And it has just been such a good time. And we had planned to start a cross stitch box at some point and had even talked about the retreat in a box idea. But with the advent of COVID, it all got pushed up and it all had to happen faster. And the cross stitch community has been so amazing. They've just embraced us um, and trusted us, which is a huge thing. I know your money is important. So it's been so fun, and we've enjoyed watching all the unboxings and you know and
Mhm.
personally family growth has been a big thing too. I mean, we're just moving along, and
Right,
I'm happy that we've been able to do that, especially in the time of COVID.
right.
I think I probably know what you're most thankful for this year.
Well, I do have a pretty big life change that happened to me this year. And it's my son James. If you're new here, welcome. But I had a baby in July, and that has been just the best thing. And it was kind of like, COVID has shut down so many different things, but I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything whenever I was pregnant. Like, you know, I wouldn't, I couldn't go out and do the things I usually did because I was pregnant, but also because no one else was doing those either. Um, but I was thinking about it because last year at Thanksgiving is when we told our families that I was pregnant. And so just like the change in our lives since then, I mean, he's changed everything. And even though I don't get enough sleep anymore, I think it was a change for everything for the better. And so he's definitely the thing I'm most thankful for this year. But also, like I feel like I've gotten closer to my mom this year just through becoming a mother myself. Um, Through having James, I get to see Katie 3 times a week. In this time when I don't get to see my friends in person that often, I do get to see one of my friends 3 times a week. And even though we only have like a 10-minute conversation, it's a 10-minute conversation with a friend in person. And
Yeah.
so that's been kind of nice. So, it's a lot of really great things have come out of having that little boy, but just having that little boy is enough. I don't need the extras, but the extras are nice.
We were talking about you last night, I think is when it was.
Mhm.
And we were talking about how we surprised you with a shower and
Oh,
what a weird
yes.
thing that was. What a weird way it was to have a shower. But we were so grateful that all of our friends were just like, yeah, we totally want to celebrate Keisha and we're here for it.
That was amazing. So, if you haven't heard, I, you know, with everything going on, I didn't think I was going to be able to have a baby shower. And I just kind of given up on it. I was like, well, it's fine. Um, and one day I'd been palling around with Laura and Katie. And they're like, oh, we need to go to the cross stitch shop. And I was like, oh, well, I'll go to the cross stitch shop. That sounds fun. Um, and so we went to Blue Springs, and back in the olden days, whenever we could all meet up together, we would go to this one building that our friend Laura, Stitching with Friends, she works in that retirement community, so she would secure that room for us. And so like, oh well, we're gonna go over here because I think Laura has some cross stitch patterns for us to go through, and we're just gonna stop by there. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I wasn't invited to look at these cross stitch patterns. I don't want to be an imposition. But I was like, whatever, I'm along for the ride. And so Laura's like, okay, I'm gonna go inside and make sure it's okay for you and Katie to come in. I was like, okay, that sounds fine. And I think I maybe even said to Katie, I was like, I don't think Laura knows that I'm coming. I don't want to just like go through her cross stitch patterns and not be invited.
And
And then she
inside the building is Keisha's mother pacing frantically back and forth because we have invited her to come up, and she
right.
wanted to drive and was just in there waiting for us.
Well, because my mom wanted to throw me a baby shower. So like it was a big deal to my mom that you invited her to be part of it in person. But yeah, so then Katie's like, oh, okay, I think we can go in. And so we go in and I see my mom and I just like start crying because I'm like, what are you doing here? And then on the computer in the middle of a table is just a big Zoom call with a whole bunch of my friends, local and not local. It was, and there were so
Oh
many
yeah,
of you.
Australia, Katie's.
Yeah, yeah, and Canada.
Yes.
Um, so it was just amazing. It was amazing. This community is amazing. I really couldn't believe it, and I'm so thankful to you and Katie for putting that all together because I'm just like,
And your sister-in-law, Shiloh, helped amazingly.
oh yeah, she's okay. My sister-in-law's
Uh,
okay. No, I like her a lot. I did
and
get to see my nieces too at Thanksgiving. That's another thing I'm thankful for. But
uh,
yeah, that baby shower was amazing.
also, Keisha had said it was so funny because we had already talked to everybody and gotten everything rolling. And Keisha and I got ready to film, and she goes, so it looks like I'm not going to have a baby shower. So I think what I'd like to do is have a baby shower Sal, and people can work on something blue or something with sheep or something they love. Basically, they can just stitch. And so we had told everybody. So we put that out there. I'm sitting on my side of the camera going, oh, yes, yes, I get it. Oh, yes. And Katie is behind the scenes over there. She had just cracking up silently,
Mm.
silently, but cracking up. And so when we talked to everybody ahead of time, we're like, hey, bring your cross stitch because I don't think Keisha wants everybody sitting staring at her during the whole thing. So when she got settled, and of course, yes, her immediate reaction was very emotional.
Mhm.
All of the pregnancy hormones and everything else.
Well, and I'm an emotional
Oh,
person
yeah.
anyway.
So when we sat down, I said, okay, you guys, show her what you're all doing. And everybody just held up their stitching, which I think just made her even that much more emotional because a lot of it was what they were stitching for the baby shower, Sal.
Well, and Connie was working on something that she sent to us,
Yes.
like that's hanging up in James's room. Um, yeah, I mean, it was amazing, and it was great that everyone got to stitch because I don't know, every baby shower I've been to, I'm like, okay, well, they're opening the presents, and there's nothing really to do.
It was fun to be able to have everybody doing that. So,
Right. So that was good. So yeah, to bring it back, so many things to be thankful for. I mean, I'm thankful for friends like you guys
yeah.
and for the baby, and it's just been a great. I mean, COVID, but it's been a pretty good year.
Yeah, I mean, there've just been so many bright spots in spite of all of the COVID, yeah, all of the situations COVID has forced on us. So,
Right. Right.
even your shower, the lovely ladies in Blue Springs went out and decorated for us. So, most of that was done by the time we got there. We had a couple of little things that we brought with us
Hmm.
to finish it off, and that was it. But I mean, it was lovely. So
Yeah. So
we love
great.
our friends.
Hmm. All right. Well, now an interesting question that I wouldn't think would be in a Thanksgiving tag, but we'll go with it. What
Can
does?
I tell you that Keisha has not told me any of these questions? So
Oh
I
yeah, I
heard them
haven't.
for the first time, like you.
Right. Well, here's an interesting one. Um, What does your ideal Thanksgiving outfit look like?
Oh my gosh. So I love for Thanksgiving to be at home. And,
Hmm.
and this year it looked like work clothes, which look very similar to my home work clothes, which look very similar to my sitting around stitching lounging clothes.
Hmm.
So my ideal outfit is just to be in some comfy pants with my slippers either on or next to me and a t-shirt or sweater, whatever I need. I'm not a real cold person, so I'm in short sleeves most of the time.
Right.
Just comfy. That's how I want to be, comfy.
Well, see, I usually go somewhere for Thanksgiving, which we did this year. And so I usually, am wearing jeans and a, a nice-ish shirt. I mean, I wore like a sweatshirt this year because, babies be spitting up on you. But I usually try to wear something that's kind of fun because I know that I'll be around my nieces. But I would really like to wear sweatpants. One of these years, I should just show up to my in laws in sweatpants and be like, I am ready for food.
We showed up at my in-laws one year for Christmas in our pajamas.
Oh, really?
To do it first thing in the morning, and we're like, we're not getting dressed. Forget it. And I had this red and white striped flannel nightshirt,
Hmm.
and I put that thing on, and yeah, we have pictures of me in it hanging out. So I say go for it.
Yeah. Well, usually at Christmas time, I am in my pajamas because we'll spend the night at my parents' house and then we'll open presents in the morning. So we are usually all in our pajamas for Christmas. Okay, the next question is, what is your best Thanksgiving memory?
Oh my goodness. Well, we excuse me, I'm sorry. Like I said, Jeff's family does a family reunion every year on Thanksgiving. And one year, several years ago, it was at his Aunt Bonnie's house. And um, so we went out there to Richmond, Missouri, which is, yeah, a fair drive from us, not too
Yeah.
bad. And we were just milling around with people. I mean, I'm like thinking through all of this, so I'm kind of stuttery, huh?
That's
Um,
okay.
but Jeff pulled me into one of the rooms and he pulled out a ring box and
Oh,
proposed.
oh wow. That is a
And
good memory.
yeah. And so um at the beginning of the dinner, we always talked about what are you grateful for?
Hmm.
And so we got to announce that we were engaged.
Oh, wow.
And then later that day, we had stepped outside just for a minute and we were stealing a kiss.
Hmm.
And Jeff's cousin is a photographer, a brilliant photographer. We didn't know it, but he was outside too. And he caught a picture of us kissing
Oh,
and
wow.
he sent it. And I mean, it was gorgeous. I loved
Mhm.
it. So, and it went to Jeff's mom because it was supposed to be, like blackmail for us. He was teasing us, it was blackmail. So I'm not sure if she still has that or not, but I should look that up.
Yeah. Well, my favorite Thanksgiving memory, I've already mentioned, we told our families last year that we were pregnant. And I'll tell you about us telling Timothy's family, but my favorite was telling my family. So James is the first grandkid of my parents. He's the third of on my husband's side, first on my parents' side. And so we did the whole what is everyone thankful for, blah, blah, blah. Usually I spend Thanksgiving with Timothy's family, but it just worked out that we got to spend Thanksgiving with my family last year, the actual Thanksgiving day. And so I was like, well, I'm thankful for being able to be with my family this year on Thanksgiving. And then I said, but in future Thanksgivings, you're probably going to need another chair. And my mom, just her face just turns bright red and she starts sobbing, just sobbing. Because, I mean, even before I was married, she was like, when am I going to get a grandkid? So she's been waiting for this. and so she's sobbing and my dad looks panicked because my dad hasn't registered what I said. All my dad knows is that his wife is sobbing and now his daughter is sobbing and he doesn't know what's happening. And then it hits my dad and my dad starts crying. And so we're just a big crying mess, just all hugging each other. So that was pretty good. And then we whenever we told my husband's family, so my mother-in-law is also a cross stitcher and she makes a stocking for everyone in the family. And it's kind of a joke that like me and my brother-in-law, it's taken her forever because they keep being children added to the family, and it takes a while to cross stitch a stocking. So Timothy said something about how it was going to be a while before I got a stocking because my mother-in-law was going to have to stitch another one. And my mother-in-law's like, oh, wow. And my father-in-law's like, uh-huh. And my mother-in-law's like, do you realize what they just said? They're going to have a baby. And he's like, oh. So the dads were a little bit slower to realize what was happening. But that was definitely, those are some special memories. So.
Okay, when we do this at Christmas, you remember to ask something like that because I'll share stories too, okay?
Okay, I'll try to remember that. All right. What is your least favorite Thanksgiving dish?
The sweet potatoes.
Same. We're good Thanksgiving buddies. We should just have Thanksgiving dinner together. We'll only make potatoes and stuffing. No sweet.
And the white meat turkey, that's the part I like.
Oh, see, I like the dark meat turkey, so we can share a turkey. That's fine.
Yeah, see, we're still good partners.
Yes.
Katie tried a new recipe this year for a sweet potato casserole, and they all loved it. They're like, oh my gosh, it's like eating dessert. And you actually mashed the sweet potatoes. So when they, the top is all of the marshmallows, which then get browned. But so when they scooped it out, it definitely looked like pie filling in there. So that was kind of interesting, but they were just in love with it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've never been one for sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Like that's space that regular potatoes could be taken up on my plate, and I'd rather have those.
Right. I agree.
All right. Do you have any quirky Thanksgiving traditions?
I don't know how quirky they are. Everybody kind of has their feeling about this, but typically, especially when Jeff and I were first together, we did not allow Christmas music until we were coming home from Thanksgiving.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and we always drove somewhere within about an hour from
Mhm.
us. We always drove somewhere. So on the way home, we would have the music ready and queued up. But, you know, up until that time, if the local radio stations were playing Christmas music, we'd change the channel. We wouldn't listen to it.
Oh, well,
So,
that's funny.
now-
I used to be a real stickler about that too, but the radio station at work is now playing Christmas music. So I'm like, oh, I'll just embrace it. It's fine.
well, and this year, I feel like people are really wanting Christmas. We've seen a lot of lights already and a lot of trees, and we just think people are ready.
Yeah. I've kind of already mentioned ours, and I don't know that it's a quirky tradition, but the deviled eggs and how we just always eat deviled eggs. And um, my husband's family doesn't do deviled eggs on Thanksgiving. I was like, why do you not? He said, well, that's an Easter thing, deviled eggs.
Oh,
Like, well, I guess that makes sense, but my family would have already eaten 2 dozen eggs by the time the dinner hits the table.
we when we were going up to Katie's when she lived in Ohio, um we started planning for I mean, we always try and plan for the day before, like we eat out or we have something delivered or something we can just throw in the oven and heat. Nothing that has to be prepared, you know.
Right.
And then we would have plans for breakfast and for snacks throughout the day because all of the cooking that would be going on just didn't need to be interrupted to fix any other food.
Mm-hmm.
So we generally will have snack stuff, but this year nobody got it going.
Oh,
Although I think they had, what did you guys have? They had mini quiche, and I
oh,
couldn't have those.
right.
I told Jeff, we need to get the Bisquick because there is gluten-free Bisquick.
Oh, okay.
And we could mix that up and make the impossible quiche. And it could just be poured in cupcake liners, and that would be the perfect size.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Sounds like a good idea to me.
so that maybe that'll be a Christmas morning plan.
Ooh, that'd be good. I made quiche one Christmas morning for my family. Not a gluten-free one. We just used like a ready-made pie crust.
Mhm.
They really liked it.
Um, can I tell you I have a best new thing this week?
Yes.
So I can't even think where I was, but oh, I know. I think I was at a meeting and somebody said to me, did you know that Oreo is coming out with gluten-free Oreos? And I'm
Oh,
like, what? So I
um,
looked it up and Oreo is in fact doing that. They don't come out until January,
oh wow.
but you can bet I will be in line. And,
Well, for sure.
I'm like, send me all the Oreos. I need
Yeah.
all the gluten-free Oreos.
And then you can make Oreo crusts for things.
Yes, because the sandwich cookies that are out there right now that are gluten-free are
Mhm.
not good. So I
Mm,
am I mean, they're okay for crusts because
right.
you grind it all up, but I am ever hopeful that because it will be Oreo, that it will be,
Better.
yes.
That'll be great.
So I will probably gain 50 pounds in January.
Hey, 50 pounds from Oreos is not a bad way to gain 50 pounds. All right. What sort of role do you play on Thanksgiving? Do you cook? Do you clean up? Do you just eat all the food?
Well, this year I ate all the food.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I will be the person who follows along behind and helps clean up while they're cooking
Yeah,
because I don't like to have to clean up after I've eaten.
right.
I'm too full.
Hmm.
So,
Well, see, I've never really cooked because usually we travel a distance for Thanksgiving. Um, but I've always been, even since I was younger, I have been the one who watches the kids.
oh,
I was an oldest cousin, so I would help watch the kids while the adults were, making the meal or playing cards or whatever they were doing. And then whenever I started going to my husband's family's Thanksgivings, I would play with my niece. And now I have two nieces, so I play with both of them. And now I have a James, so I was playing with him. So I've just always kind of been the kid wrangler. which is the most fun job, really. So I get to play while everyone else cooks and cleans up. So where do you and your family usually celebrate Thanksgiving?
In the past few years, it has been the four of us at home. Um, Jeff last year snuck over to his I'm sorry, that frog. At least the frog is there. Um, Last year he went to his family's Thanksgiving celebration while we were at home cooking and getting things ready. Because most of the time he will do the majority of the cooking.
Mhm.
And we were just trying to give him a time when he could go and enjoy that time. So,
Nice. We, um, since I started becoming serious with my husband, so when we were dating, I've always spent Thanksgiving with his family, except for last year. But we usually will go to Illinois to visit his grandparents. His grandparents live in Illinois, so that's it's like a 6.5 hour drive. And my husband works for FedEx, so he really only gets Thanksgiving off. So we would drive there, usually when I'd get off on Wednesday, spend the night, eat Thanksgiving dinner, and then drive back the same day. Or I guess Thanksgiving lunch, usually. And then we drive back the same day. So a lot of driving usually. For the past couple of years, though, we've been going to my in laws in Des Moines. Um, and that is 3 hours away. So still a lot of driving, still the same kind of turnaround time, but a little less intense than driving to Illinois. So that's usually where we go. And then last year we went to my parents' house on actual Thanksgiving, and then we celebrated with my husband's family a couple days later. And then this year we kind of swapped it and went to his family's um, on Thanksgiving, and then went to my parents yesterday. So that's what we usually do.
fun.
Yeah. All right. And then the last question: what do you love most about Thanksgiving?
Oh, I love all of us sitting down at the table together and eating.
Mhm.
And then we usually will we'll either play games, which is my preference,
Mhm.
or we will watch movies. And this year it was really funny. Um, they did not want to watch Christmas movies. Katie and I did, but the other two didn't.
Mhm.
And so on Wednesday, we watched Die Hard 1,
Right.
the
Important.
original. And afterwards, and I passed out. That was it. I fell asleep. Um, and evidently while I was asleep, Katie goes, "Oh, you have to watch this." And she plays on TV the episode. Well, it's just a clip from a WKRP in Cincinnati episode
Mhm.
where they do the turkey drop. Have
Oh
you
yeah.
seen this?
Mhm.
And I guess the three of them were crying because they were trying not to laugh and wake me up. And I'm like, I know I saw it because we were huge WKRP fans,
Mhm.
but I don't remember it.
Ah.
And so Katie whips it out on Thanksgiving and shows me, and yeah, I'm just cracking up at it. The
Right.
humanity. As God is my witness, I swear I didn't know that I swear I thought turkeys could fly. If you have not seen it, go Google it, watch it. You will laugh so hard. It is more fun to watch the person who is not talking during the scene because every single one of them are in there trying not to laugh. and it's fabulous.
I think my favorite part of the holiday is, like you said, just like all getting together and sitting down for a meal. It's kind of hard to get, you know, everyone, my in-laws, my brother and sister-in-law, my nieces, just to like all be sitting. And it was kind of fun this year because my youngest niece is 2, and so she's kind of old enough to sit at the table, sit up like everyone else and eat her food. And it was funny because there were 3 people to a side and then people on the ends. So I'm on the side sitting next to my niece, who's sitting next to my other niece. And so we're the side with the big drop cloth underneath us. And I was like, how big of a mess does my mother-in-law think I'm going to make while eating? um, but it's nice. It's nice just to have everyone around the table. And we were actually all around the table this year because James woke up halfway into the meal and we sat him in his little seat that helps him sit up and just put him in a chair next to the table. So we were all around the table at one time.
Aw,
So that was nice.
that's special.
Yes, for sure. So I think those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you want to discuss about Thanksgiving?
Um, not that I can, I mean, not that I can think of.
Yeah. I feel like we pretty well hit everything.
Did all that and a little extra.
Yeah. Well, you learned all about my baby shower if you didn't know about it. And about how you got proposed to and how I told my family about our baby. Seems like Thanksgiving's a pretty special holiday for both of us.
It's always been a good family time. So,
Hmm.
and generally, I mean, when we were younger, it was always a good extended family time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always the time whenever I'd get together with all of my cousins.
Okay. I finished a second piece of floss here.
Nice. I feel like I got a little less progress this time than I did last time, but I think that's because I had a whole lot of like little spots with one stitch at a time.
Well, mine will look funny this time because I skipped a letter, as you will see.
Ah, okay. Well, are you ready to show our progress then?
I am, and then I will anchor this afterwards so that it will be ready for the next time.
Okay,
I
well,
didn't
let's.
finish this letter, but
That's all right. You'll finish it the next time, right?
yes. So you go ahead and show yours.
All right. So just to remind you, this is what mine looks like. And I had all the green in before we started. So this is where I got to.
Look at him. He's so cute.
I got his hair and his beard and his little
The
candy cane,
candy cane.
his nose, which you can't really see because it's the same color as the
Oh,
paper pretty much, but there's stitches around it, so it'll show up whenever I get
we will just go with that. We will believe
this.
you. I am anchoring this since I went ahead and threaded. Oh, come on. So I might get in another stitch here. Is that cheating?
I don't think so. We're still on the video. I'm anchoring my black. My next thing I'm going to be stitching with black, so I went ahead and did my loop start.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, you gotta get things ready to go, right?
right. We got to be prepared the next time we do this. And just as a reminder, we're doing this the second and fourth Sundays of the month. So if you want to continue stitching these with us, show up then. Next week, we'll be back with your regularly scheduled Flosstube, and it sounds like Laura is starting all of the Christmas things, and I
But
have some Christmas
show
things
them. I won't show them all. I'll only show what we worked on.
during the week.
Katie and I did pre-starts,
Mhm.
and I'm finishing up those pre-starts today.
Yeah.
Just so that when the day pops up for our 12 days of Christmas stitching, um, I won't have to spend time putting the floss in bags and finding where I want to work on my fabric and getting started, I'll be able to just pick it up. We worked kind of about an hour, except what I did because I got a late start is that I ended up just pulling one length of floss. And when that length was gone, just one of them,
Mhm.
not all of the strands,
Right.
um, then I would stop as
Oh,
long
nice.
as it was a place that made sense.
Right. And are you and Katie are doing vlog style things like we did for Halloween, right? Over on the Black Needle Society YouTube?
We will be, I think we're going to try and do like every other day
Okay.
because we will also be opening our nice list box.
I'm very excited. The box is sitting right next to me over here, and I am ready to start opening them. I'm
Oh,
going to open up the actual box tomorrow so that I can look at all of the gifts, but I won't open any gifts until Tuesday.
oh, and you can lay it out and get your picture for the photo contest.
I'm so excited about it.
You did do an unboxing, right, Katie? Okay. So, now that I sat here and talked to you for a minute, I stitched like another handful of stitches. So if I put in two more, this
That's
letter
okay.
is done.
So yeah, so go check out the Black Needle Society's YouTube channel and get in on some Christmas stitching goodness. I will also be doing 12 projects during the month of December, but it's kind of hard to do the couple of days a week vlogging with the little guy, especially since this is peak work time for my husband. So I will also be participating. I just won't be participating on camera. So, but I will be showing off the goodies that I got in the nice list box whenever we hop on our regular Flosstube. So
Which
you'll
will
see
be
them.
good. Yeah. And we did say that maybe you could film just by yourself quickly if you wanted to, and we'll
Yeah,
insert those.
right.
But it's totally up to you. So,
Yeah. So who knows what you're going to get in December, guys? Who knows?
so I'm doing the green one, be merry. And last week it just said me. So this week,
It says mer e.
it's like Spanish.
Right.
'Cause mer is the C, I want to say, and E is and.
See and.
But it's because the other R is up some. And
Oh,
when I got down here to the bottom, I was right by the bottom of the Y's. So I just went ahead and did that.
that makes sense.
So I will get that other R in the next. The hardest thing I told Keisha as soon as we got off the last time, I just want to sit and stitch this.
I know, me too. I'm like, I could just get this done.
Yeah, I mean, I could so totally have this finished. So next time I will definitely finish the other R, and maybe I will do the white block behind the skinny R.
That sounds good. I'm hoping that I will finish out, just do finish out his face because I have some stitching left to do on the face, and then you can't really see it, but there's a border around the pink,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll just have the fill in to do. So
Yeah, I'm hoping that I would hope for 2 times, but I bet it'll take 3 unless we get an extra long tag.
things always take more time than you think they're going to with cross
They
stitches.
do. They and I'm not in a huge hurry on this.
No,
Um, it just is it's kind of fun and I want to see it come to an end because I want to do the red one too. But
right?
the red one I'll probably do on my own.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm kind of trying to wait until I finish this one so that
Mhm.
I'm not tempted to just sneak over and work on this one too.
I have fully, and you guys will see this on next week's video. I have fully already started this one and only have the blue left.
Oh, wow.
That
Wow,
was my car project.
that's amazing. I'm enjoying doing this
Mhm.
It's different to sit here and stitch through our video and
Yeah, it's nice, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it too, just having some stitching and chatting time. So
yes. And I know that a bunch of you were saying kind of the same things the last time when we did this, and we got a lot of really good comments, and we so enjoy reading them. I have been doing my darndest to reply to everything. So
I have been reading them all. Sorry I haven't been replying, guys. It seems like every time I sit down to try to reply, I have a baby that wakes up. So, and I don't want you to get like a half answer and then me send it and then you'd be like, what is Keisha talking about? Because that's those are the answers you get from me. But thank you for commenting. If you have any questions that you'd like us to answer in one of these videos, just comment them and we'll read them and we'll answer them. Or if you have any fun tags that you know of that you'd like us to go through, we are open to suggestions. Because I'm just Googling fun tags for YouTubers.
I do like it. And yeah, if you guys have questions, send them, and we will create our own tag. So
Yeah.
we may have to do the Rolodex tag at some.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
I can't remember
I'll
what else on there, but it is kind of crazy.
I'll put it on the list of things.
It is it's kind of crazy. So okay. Is that
I
it?
guess, yeah, I guess so. Bye. Have a good week.